Hello Wonderland, Kelly here, out for a paddle this morning, as you can see. Somewhere new though. I usually go to Pocahontas State Park because Swift Creek Lake is nice and calm. Today I've come to Turkey Island Creek, yes, in eastern Henrico County. So 35 minutes from home, give or take. Yeah, it should be pretty nice. This actually feeds into the James River, so I'll take it down to there and see how far I feel like going. Cool morning so far. Hopefully not too many bugs. I didn't think to bring my bug spray. Figures. Okay, let's do it. Before I unload the kayak, let's take a quick look at the creek. Looks nice. Black water. Pretty still. It's actually pretty picturesque already. Yeah, okay. I like what I see. Okay, on the water, still near the ramp. I can already tell this is flowing water, unlike the creek or the lake at Pocahontas that I typically go to, so that'll be interesting. I'm going downstream and then it'll be upstream on the way back, so that's always fun. Gear-wise, R7 today, which tends to be my standard for kayaking, both because it's less valuable in case anything goes sideways, and that extra reach tends to be handy. But I've got the 100 to 500. I've got the 24 to 105 for scenics, and if I want to go wider than that, again, I have the 16mm f2.8. Pretty similar to what I was packing the other day at Maymont, so, except R7. Okay, so I'm hearing right here some Acadian flycatchers, which is a kind of bird I don't see very often. So I'm trying to tuck into the weeds here a little bit and see if I can find any close enough to shoot, or anything else for that matter. Okay, let's see how it goes. Right here in front of me is power lines with a whole mess of birds sitting on them. Can't quite tell what they are. Some kind of swallow, I think. I'm getting some pictures and we'll identify them when we get home. Bird on wire shots aren't that interesting, but the conglomeration of birds is. There's some flying around on the tree over there too. Okay, take a look. I'm thinking northern rough-winged swallows. I'm not far from Dutch Gap and see them at Dutch Gap a lot. But I'll ID when I get home. They've got a nice spot here, though, I'll tell you that. Had some wildlife drama at home before I left this morning. So you know, if you watch my videos, we have backyard chickens. And they started squawking the alarm. So we went back there and there was a fox trying to run off with one. Luckily, we managed to chase it off with just a mouthful of feathers rather than a whole bird. And the birds seem okay, other than being a bit traumatized. Perils. The perils of backyard chicken farming. Yeah, these are definitely rough-winged swallows, I think. They're skimming real low over the water in front of me, which would be some interesting shots. Let's see if I can pause capture some. Stay tuned. Yeah, failure with the swallows for now. Maybe I'll try them again on the way back. They kind of come and go, and they're so fast, and they're usually flying against all this foliage down low, which is a very busy background for the camera to lock onto, so tricky stuff. Got one or two against the sky, but that's not very interesting, so onward. Took a fork in the creek, another little tributary of it, rather than head directly to the James River. So we'll see if there's anything good back here. It's beautiful. The birds are kind of staying away, though I do hear some. I see some fly over. I saw a couple of hummingbirds chasing each other around. That was fun. Didn't get a shot though. All right, let's see what's up here. There's some birds ahead of me in that tree. Thinking grackles. Though I'm also seeing some red-winged blackbirds, so that's a possibility. Got some shots from a distance. Oh, there's a pileated woodpecker. I would accept that. Bit of a maze back in here. This is just a little cove, but I am seeing some red-winged blackbirds down low, so maybe they'll be cooperative. Not the most exciting subject, but not bad. And better than nothing. Now we're talking. We got an osprey right here on the hunt. If I could get a good dive, that'd be awesome. Of course, he went the other way. That happens. All right, we're heading, this is back on the main channel of the creek, so we're heading towards the river again. Hopefully this gets a little more exciting. But it is pretty. I just saw a mammal swimming in the water. Could be an otter, or a beaver, or a muskrat. Keep an eye out for that to pop back up. Yeah, I don't know where the mammal went. Dove for cover. Been seeing the osprey more though. Landed on a tree, got some shots there. Now he's off hunting again. Continue down this creek a little bit more. I'm thinking when I get to the river, that's probably where I'll turn around. I don't want to get lost. Nice. Let me turn you around. This ahead of me is the James River. And that land right across there is the Presque Isle National Wildlife Refuge, which I would love to visit sometime. But it's not easy because, number one, the only access is by water, which that's not really a problem. I can paddle over to it. But you also have to have a permit to visit. which you have to apply for like 3 business days in advance. I mean, you don't always know what the weather's going to be 3 days out, not exactly. So that, to me, makes it a little dicey and definitely inconvenient. But one of these days, I'll give it a try. Over here, in the trees there's a great blue heron at the top of one. Getting some shots of him, but there's clouds in the background, but it's still pretty monochromatic. It's not real photogenic. But still, might make for an interesting shot or two. And the ospreys are still hunting. Some birds flying over there. Gulls. Shoot them a bit. That might be interesting. Yeah. I would definitely add this place to the list of good sites for kayaking and whatnot. Shooting that heron a little more. I may just paddle across the river here real quick and take a look at Presque Isle, and then I'll turn back. All right, paddled over to Presque Isle, just the coastline. Now I will start heading back, cross the river again. Hopefully I'm not fighting current too much all the way back. It's not a swift flow on the creek, but more than the lake, that's for sure. All right, onward. Hopefully the sun was starting to go behind some clouds, which might make for some better lighting. Maybe more birds will come out. We shall see what happens on the return trip. Heading back up the creek. The osprey made a dive. Unsuccessful, as was I. Couldn't quite lock onto it before it hit the water. Got some of it flying away and shaking off the water. That might be interesting. Not too much else going on. I see some birds in a tree over here. Angle that way and see. Oh, I did see a little hawk. Didn't get a shot of that either. There's a goldfinch. That's a little more fun. Oh, and he's landed in the tree. Very nice. Let's see how that goes. Kind of far off, even at 800mm equivalent. But he's bright enough that he stands out. Who else do we have in this tree? Purple martin or something. Indigo bunting, maybe. Okay. Something is splashing over there. Let's check that out. Heading back into swallow territory. See if I have any better luck this time. Not gonna try for too long though. I'm getting hungry. My rear end hurts. I really need to get a cushion of some sort. Looks like the swallows have cleared out. Not on the lines anymore. Not in the trees, not flying around. They probably went over to the Radcliffe Conservation Area where I see them a lot. Not too far from that either. What the heck? critter just kind of run and start into the water. No idea. I'm passing my put-in point right now. I'm gonna take this creek the other way just a little bit. See if there's anything interesting down here. Some good smelling flowers over here. That doesn't translate on YouTube, sorry. Well, looks like this down tree means you can't go very far this way. Some cardinals flying around. Well, looks like the end of the road. Unless I were to drag my kayak over the tree, but I'm not going to do that. Then I guess that's it for this paddle and excursion for now. I feel like this wasn't real productive photographically, but it was a very nice paddle. I would come back here. Definitely. Hope you're doing well wherever you are. And until next time, be good to yourself. Take care of each other. Don't forget to be awesome. And get out and wander. Later.